This is my Audi S8 daily driver, and today it's going back to Audi and being replaced by another car, which is even more exciting. Now I'm going to reveal exactly what that car is later in this video, because first I want to tell you why this has been such an absolute dream to live with. Buy, sell, carwow. This S8 is all about comfort, and it's got some very special suspension. For instance, when you open the door to get in, the car raises up, look, to make it easier to get in the seat. And then when you close the door and drive off, or lock it, it then lowers down to its correct position. Another benefit of this suspension is that when you go over a bump, the car can actually read the road ahead and will lift the suspension up as you go over a bump, so it just smooths the car out. It is incredibly comfy to travel in, so very comfy. And the car I'm getting next might not be quite so comfy. Despite being a very comfy vehicle, this is also extremely fast. So it's powered by a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 with 571 horsepower and 800 newton meters of torque, driving all four wheels by an 8-speed automatic gearbox. The performance this thing delivers blows my mind. In fact, we've used it in a lot of drag races, and here's a clip from the best time it's ever done in one of those drag races. Impressive. Yet, despite having all that power and performance, the actual efficiency is also pretty mind-bending. Over the past 10,000 or so miles of driving and 320 hours it's been on the road, the average economy is 23.6 miles per gallon, which isn't loads, but for a big, heavy twin-turbo V8 is actually rather good. Also, on a long run on the motorway, I've been able to get over 30 miles per gallon, as this clip from my Instagram account proves. Have a look at this. 31.2 miles per gallon. See? 30 miles per gallon on a run. It's pretty much as efficient as my Suzuki Jimny with its 100 horsepower 1.5 litre engine on the motorway. Wow. It's been an absolutely brilliant family car. Plenty of room in the back seats, even though the S8 isn't available in the long wheelbase version of the A8. But there's just so much room, you don't really need that. It's been great for carrying my daughter Grace about, loads of space for her baby seat, and obviously the comfy ride helps get her off to sleep. I've also had this thing fully loaded over Christmas to carry everyone and presents all the way to my home in Warsaw. Quickly vote up there how full you think the Audi S8 is. It's ready for its Christmas trip. So in the front, we have my mum, with stuff on her lap. On this side, we have Joe. Hello. We're not doing stuff there. There's Grace. We'll go see Grace now. Hello, Grace. You all right? Lots of stuff behind Grace. We're all packed in. And then the boot, have a look at this. Oh my gosh. That is properly full. But it's happening. The Audi S8 is a fine Christmas car. I was the most comfy though in the front, obviously. If there is one issue with the practicality, it's the boot. Now it's not small, 505 litres worth of space. However, because it's a saloon and not a hatchback or an estate like the RS6 I had before, it's just a little bit harder to pack it. The opening is reasonably wide, but it's never quite as wide as a lift-back tailgate on the RS6. And when you look inside, it's quite contoured, which means depending on what you're trying to pack in there, you can't actually make the best use of the available space. Yeah, I'm talking as a father who has to carry things like a baby buggy and various paraphernalia. One of my favourite things though about this car is the fact that it's got this dual personality. The suspension is just so comfortable and the car's so quiet and serene. You can waft around in utmost luxury. I mean, the way it deals with bumps is incredible. I'm driving over some like random bit of land here and it's dealing really well with the undulations and rabbit holes. However, if you get this on a twisty road and you want to have some fun, this S8 will deliver. It can bend your mind just how well it handles and goes around corners. There's so much poise and loads of grip. Plus, that Quattro all-wheel drive system is so good at just rocketing you out of the bends. It's been an absolute pleasure to drive. There is one slight issue I've had with it though. One day I was driving down the road, I hit a pothole and I smashed one of the alloy wheels. it basically cracked it. Got crack in the alloy wheel, so that needed to be replaced, but that is the only incident that I've had with this car. However, that brings me on to my new car, because it's being delivered right now, and I've just had a call from the delivery company to tell me that someone has just driven into it while they've been refueling it at the petrol station to bring it to me. I'm not sure how bad the damage is. They suggested they could take the car straight back and get it fixed, or they could let me see it first. So I haven't even seen this car yet. I spec'd it up 6 months ago and I want to see what it looks like, but I'm nervous about how much the damage has affected the car. You know, no one wants a new car that's just been damaged. The delivery driver is going to be bringing it to me now. He should be driving this way soon. He's going to take the old one away, or will he be going back in the new car, and I'll be keeping the S8 for a little bit longer. Okay, so here the car is. Now you're probably expecting a 911 GT3 RS, a car that I have ordered and is on its way, but that's not going to be a daily driver. This daily driver though is still a sporty model, a lot more sporty than the S8. Look at this, just in time for the summer. An Audi R8 Spider in green with a brown roof and gold alloys, and apparently some damage on it. So let's have a little chat with the delivery driver to find out what's what. Are you a little bit annoyed?
I'd say the least.
Yeah, and me a little bit. So what's happened?
I want you to see whether you can see it, because then that way I know whether you're going to accept it or not, because if not, Audi told me to take it back.
So I was really worried that there was some serious damage to it. So what's happened?
Just parked up, getting some fuel.
Yeah.
Got back in the car. A lady decided in the Polo to reverse and then not see that behind and reverse into it. Well, thankfully, it was the right height for it not to do massive damage on that.
Okay, right. So have you got all her details?
Yes.
I bet you have. Right, let's see if she's going to be getting a big bill or not. I can see a B. We have a B in there.
The bees had fun.
The bees had fun. Are you sure it's... I can't... Do you know what? If you hadn't said anything...
No, that's why I wanted you to have a look. I know you're going to accept it now, Matt, so I thought.
Go on, show me the damage. Where is the actual damage?
Well, the fact it's an R8, you look at the R8 badge,
yeah.
It's just there.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was cracked or something. Like the phone call they gave me, it was like cracked, it might need a new grille, blah, blah, blah. That's nothing. I mean, it is annoying, right? Brand new car, just been delivered, and someone does that to it.
64 miles on the clock.
64 miles on the clock, but you know, these things happen. I don't think it needs a new grille. I reckon a smart repair will do that. So the delivery driver has gone, so I've got a moment to actually take the car in. It looks so good. I'm really, really pleased with how this has turned out. I wasn't sure, and when I was speccing it up with Audi press office, they're the people that are lending me this car for 6 months so I can do various videos on it. They weren't sure either, but I think it's turned out absolutely brilliantly. Until now, my best daily drive that I've had has been a Porsche 911 Turbo S. But in terms of like the look of it, I think this tops it. It really does. I'm so pleased with it. I've got to check out the inside, how to get in now. I've got to remember how to get into an R8. You're gonna have to wait to see the inside because I've done something special with the interior. It's even more brave than the exterior. Wow.
3 weeks later.
I've had this car for about 20 days, so I've had some time to get to know it. But before I tell you what I like and don't like about it, I should first explain why I've gone for an R8 and the Spider. This is actually the end of the road for the R8. Audi will not be producing it for much longer. Also, it's got a 5.2 litre naturally aspirated V10 engine with 620 horsepower and 580 newton meters of torque. This engine is a thing of the past. This is my last opportunity to enjoy it in a new car. So then, why did I go for the Spider? Well, need you ask? It's spring right now, we're going into summer. I want to enjoy this car with the roof off. Also, I think it looks better as a Spider than a coupe, apart from one thing, you can't see the engine. In fact, all you can see of it when you pop this little flap is this. It's a bit like looking at the engine on a Porsche 911. However, these bits are important. They're your air intakes. Because while you might not be able to see the engine, you can sure as hell hear the engine. So, I went for the Spider for the enjoyment of the noise and the look. and for having the roof down in the summer. And then there's the option of going for rear wheel drive or four-wheel drive. And seeing as the Spider weighs 100 kilos more than the coupe, I thought, well, I've slightly compromised the driving dynamics. No point going for the rear-wheel drive version, which admittedly is more fun. May as well have the four-wheel drive version, which will be a little bit better for drag races and also better for driving when it does inevitably spend all summer raining. Then there's the colour. Well, yes, I have gone for another green car. My first green car was an Audi RS6, then the BMW M3, then the S8, and now this. I was actually thinking of getting it all black because it looks pretty mean. I also like it in white with a red interior and yellow with black accents, though that combination sort of reminds me of the nuclear hazard sign. So green it was. I wanted an interior that would match the green exterior. I could have just gone for black, that would have worked, but it would have been boring. Instead, I went for this lovely brown. There was one problem with choosing the brown, and that's not that some people might say it looks like you're sitting in a pile of poo. It's the fact that if you want the brown, you can't have the upgraded Recaro bucket seats. But I'm fine with that, because brown. Speaking of brown, not the only thing that's brown. Check this out. I've only gone and done it. I've gone for a matching brown roof. Of course I have. Green and brown. The Quattro edition also gets some carbon fibre upgrades, such as on this little rear spoiler, round the air intakes, on the side blades, and some more inside. Round these air vents, and these air vents, and the digital driver's display as well, and it helps lift the cabin. I also like the fact that this car comes as standard with a Bang & Olufsen stereo, though you do need this range-topping Quattro edition version to get that upgrade. It's lovely though. However, it all adds to the price. This R8 Spider V10 Performance Quattro edition starts at £170,000. Though this one, obviously, with the addition of that green paint, £175,000. And it's a bit annoying, at that price point, it doesn't have adaptive cruise control as standard. In fact, you can't get it on the R8, and you've never been able to get it, actually, to tell you the truth. What you used to be able to get on this car, though, was adaptive dampers, but they've been removed from the equipment list. So too has Isofix on the front passenger seat, which is annoying because I've got a 2-year-old daughter and I'd like to take her in this car. And I used to be able to take her in the Porsche 911 Turbo S because that had Isofix on the front passenger seat. It's not the most annoying thing though. I'll show you what it is right now. In order to make room for the folding roof mechanism, Audi has had to move the R8 rear bulkhead slightly further forward. And that affects just how much you can push the seats back. So I've got this seat as low as it will go. I want it low. I'm in a supercar, right? However, I can't quite get the seat far enough back. My legs are a little bit too bent for my liking. Now, if I want to straighten my legs out a bit, I can do, but I have to first raise the seat up, and now it will go back just a little bit more. That is a touch better, but now I'm running into headroom issues, and I think I'm sitting too high for this type of car. That's really quite annoying when you consider that I'm not that tall. I am average. I'm 179 centimetres. And actually, I've got short legs and a long body, so someone who's taller than me or more normally proportioned is going to really struggle. So I'm just going to put the seat back down low, like it should be in a supercar, get it as far back as it'll go, and now hand over to my cameraman, Adam, who is 6 foot tall. So go on, Adam. There we go, Adam. So, what's that like?
That's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's so bent.
Are you comfy?
No, not at all.
Now try raising the seat up a bit and moving it back. It'll give you a little bit more room to stretch your legs. Yeah?
Still not really good.
And where's your head? What's your head doing?
It's brushing the top of the roof.
Bit of a fail for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you going for a different convertible supercar?
Yeah.
Oh dear. There's another problem I'm experiencing with this car right now, and it's on page 75 of the owner's manual. And I'll explain exactly what it is while we go for a drive. You see, this car is so brand new. It was delivered to me with about 50 miles on it. I've now done 420, but according to the manual, I need to do at least 700 until I can rev it past 5,500 RPM. After that point, I can gradually increase the revs. and only when I've done 1,000 miles can I really start to thrash the off it. However, it's not all bad. You see, this car has a special feature where I can just lower the glass in the back. So I'm lowering that now, and it allows me to hear the engine. And if I have it in performance mode, we have the exhaust flaps open, and then if I accelerate in a highish gear, you'll get that noise as the car goes under load. So it's still making a brilliant sound without me having to rev it past 5.5. That's all induction sound. Absolutely glorious, and I can really hear it, even with the roof up, just because I've got that little window down. Let's try something else though to really experience the noise. So what I'm going to do now is just take the roof down, which I can do when driving along at modest speeds. Roof is coming down. Now let's do that again with the noise. What a noise! It's so good. Thing is, I don't really need to exploit this car's full performance to have fun on a twisty road. Because this thing is so fast, I can quite easily hoon it about at moderate speeds, and this thing just grips, goes around tight corners, and still entertaining. I'm quite surprised how well it goes down the road considering it doesn't have adaptive dampers. It's reasonably smooth for a supercar, and because you've got the engine mid-mounted, this thing really rotates nicely through the bends. And then the four-wheel drive system lets you get the power down. There's not bags of torque low down in the rev range, but there's enough, and the throttle response is really nice. I don't think the running in period would be as good in the coupe version because I wouldn't get the same sensory experience. I'm really enjoying the noise, and I'm enjoying having the sun shining on my head. Do you know what I'm going to do though? I'm going to get the miles on this car as quickly as possible. So this weekend I have a little trip planned to the Nürburgring 24-hour race. I'm going to drive this car all the way there and back, and by the time I return, it'll be fully running, so I can start hooning it about, including launching it, because we've got some cool drag races planned with it. And to make sure you don't miss out on those, subscribe to this channel right now and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way you won't miss when I make those uploads. One thing I am quite concerned about the trip to the Nürburgring is how many times I'm going to have to stop at a fuel station. Even though I've been driving this car very sedately, running it in, it's only doing 17.6 miles to the gallon. Oh dear indeed. On a day like today, it's worth it. Oh, that definitely is. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's see what speed you can put the roof up at. So I'm driving along, 38, pressing the button, nothing. What speed does it need to go to? There we go. The roof is going up again. Means that you don't have to stop and pull over if it's raining. Lovely. Actually, it's quite refined with the roof up. It's got decent insulation. So then, what's my final verdict? Well, after 3 weeks of driving the R8 Spider, should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon most people will end up having to avoid this car because they just won't fit behind the wheel. But if you do fit and find it comfortable, I think you should go right ahead and buy an Audi R8 Spider. Beautiful V10 engine, wonderful with the roof down, and it looks fabulous, especially in this green.